Dear Sheree, how in the hell are you going to plan a trip for healing when you can't even heal your damn self? Y'all, come on back. Let's have this heavy conversation because it's what? Time to read, review, and rant about these housewife heifers. What's going on, heavy hitters? Welcome, guys. Thank you so much. If this is your first time, welcome back. If it is not, baby, listen, let's just go on and get straight to it. And let's talk about Real Housewives, Season 15, Episode 10, Healing by Sheree. First of all, again, if you can't heal yourself, how in the hell you going to heal a group of troubled women? So we start off with this week's episode with a montage of the ladies celebrating Thanksgiving with a variety of things that they've done, from Marlo eating lamb chops, Candy doing her candy cares, Ross and Sanya eating dinner, Kenya with the family in beautiful, spirited Brooklyn, meeting her family, and for the first time meeting her granddad. Interesting. Would have thought that she already would have. However, I guess around the pandemic and things like that, she did not. She's such a beautiful spirit, just a light heart. Just to me, she really changed Kenya. I've always loved Kenya. However, I think just her being a mother has really changed who she is. Then we go directly over to the Drew and Ralph household where Drew is coming down. He compliments Drew and says she looks beautiful, and she, sarcastically, I'm going to the brunch. Drew makes mention that, oh my God, look at this. This is so amazing. All these chefs and what's going on and the seating placements. I've never seen this before. And he's like, well, you girls can get along. The fellas we get along. We want to do this for you guys as a send-off as you're headed to Portugal. And then what is so funny is that Sheree and a couple of others say Portugal. What is Portugal? It's Portugal. You are really starting to see in the communication between the two how the marriage is starting to visibly unfold. The ladies are starting to come in. Courtney brings Bryce. Candy is there, of course, with Todd. And then we also have Sheree comes by herself. Then we have Sanya and Ross. It's interesting these ladies start shading Bryce. And again, Bryce, hell, I don't really remember him from Joie. Honestly, I don't really remember the movie Joie, but I'm sure I've seen it in passing. Bryce is still a nice-looking young man. He has aged well to me, especially in comparison to some other men, so I'm not sure exactly why they keep shading this man. Candy's like, oh, my God, hey, Bryce, I haven't seen you in so long. And Kenya is like, oh, Bryce, oh, is this Bryce? Girl, you know that's Bryce. Stop playing. She's so extra. Everybody's there. And then lastly, Marlo brings in her renegade, Scottley from Jamaica. It's a Jamaican name, Scottley. My name is Scottley. Kenya does what Kenya does best, throw shade. What the hell did he have on? I guess like eBay is closed. He was like double, triple chained in a Bill Cosby sweater, smiling from ear to ear, glad that he had finally gotten on TV. Although I did see someone say that he was on Ready to Love. I don't know. I tried to do some research and I didn't see anything about a Scott Lee, so maybe he was. I saw on another content creator's page that one of the commenters said that he'd already been on TV on Ready to Love. So who knows? Again, this is Marlo's Rent-A-Man for the moment because, producers and Marlo are really trying to get people to change the distinct perception we have of Marlo because she is who she is. Candy mentions, oh, I know him. I've seen him before. And people are like, you know him? And she's like, not like that, y'all. I eaten at his restaurant. He's the sous chef at the Continent, some shit, I don't know, at some particular restaurant. We then move on to the conversation about the movie. And Kenya jokingly is like, okay, well, where's my offer? I know I can do this. And who's taking the lead role? Candy points over to Drew. You cast Drew? Can you be nice? There's some back and forth and there's some banter. Drew shades Kenya's resume, which was kind of odd to me because, Drew, I don't think you've been in anything since Step Up or the TLC movie, wherever that shit was that you've done last. And both of you have okay resumes. Most recently, Kenya has been in that Netflix show with Tia Mary. Is it Tia or Tamira Mary? Whatever. With Loretta Devine. With Loretta Devine. When the son is a football player, retired, comes back home, I don't know, to a small country town. Jokingly again, Kenya mentions that, hey, y'all, look, I put threesomes on the map, baby. I am a shoe-in. I don't think we want to be seeing Kenya more talking about she's getting a pass or passing along the kitty cat or whatever, the tussy cat, as Funky Dineva says. At this time, let me lean on in so we can have this heavy conversation. At this time, Kenya gets a FaceTime, and it's Roy, her new beau, her new boo, and she's talking to him, and politely she says, hey guys, oh my God, is that Roy? Says Marlo. Because mind you, just a few minutes ago, Sheree has asked Kenya, well, where's Roy? She's like, well, he's not here. Although Martell is sitting nowhere near. Sheree feels obligated to take this time to take a dig at Kenya, meaning she says she's dating somebody, but we've never seen him. Well, girl, we only saw Martell at the beginning of his 2 contractual agreements that he would show up for you, as I think you've only done 2 for Love and Marriage, Huntsville. So I think, your contracts for one another may have expired, or that's all Bravo wanted. That's all OWN needed, or Carlos King needed from this farce and this shenanigan of a relationship with you two. I'll lean back. So going back to Marlo, oh my God, is that Roy? Oh yeah, I dated him, or we went on a date. I'm glad she corrected that. Although she did feel very pressed enough to keep it going about some things. And at this time, Kenya's like, hold on, I can't hear you. I'm sure she could hear. I'm sure she was ear hustling to what Marlo was saying and trying to have this communication with Roy. And when she's doing all this extra, Marlo, so I'm sure Kenya's like, hold on, I'll be back. So she steps off to talk to him. Marlo is still going. You went on one date. And what I hate is that Sing is pick me ass and Sheree are over there cackling. She dated him. Marlo is now starting to elaborate. Yeah, we went out. He was in my DMs. And first of all, what you showed was he replied to your story. He didn't come into your DMs like Martell went into Kenya's DMs, since they don't understand the difference. He replied to a story, which Marlo felt obligated to show everyone. Secondly, she is saying that he was corny. He's perfect for Kenya. Then someone who just needs to make this known. Let me see if his number's still the same. Girl, you went on one date with somebody. That is the level of pick me and desperation and validity. And I finally got her. I love the fact that Kenya paid her dust and was like, girl, whatever. So Kenya finishes the conversation and comes back saying, yeah, what are the odds that Kenya and Marlo would be dating the same person? Again, one date does not constitute dating. And you find out later on in the after show, Kenya was like, I knew. They went on a date. They met there. He didn't pick her up. It was nothing official. Afterwards, regardless of what it was, this isn't Kenya. These are my words. Regardless of what it was, it didn't go any further. So we see that. However, Marlo felt ever so pressed to try to convince us of why she was not the one and how he was just so corny and all those things. Girl, you went out on a date. He was your typical well-to-do white man that you typically date, unlike Scott Lee, because we know Scott Lee is rented, and it just didn't so happen to work. At this point, Kenya's playing the game, giving them a little bit of banter. Well, I'm glad you didn't, because you showed him what not to like. I got him now. There you go, Kenya. Pay them dust, because they are over there mad. Baby, they were heated in their confessionals that Kenya would not buy into it. I love your growth, Kenya. Hear me out, girl. Let me lean in for this heavy conversation. Kenya, I love your growth and how you did not fall for it. You did not let them bait you in to have a stupid argument over a one date for a man that you're actually honestly seeing. Love that. Love your growth. We then get into the confessional, and of course, there's more back and forth. And Marlo says, enjoy my leftovers, bitch. Wouldn't you have had to either go on more than one day, kiss him, get some money from him, which is what you say that you do, have sex, go on trips, something to have been beneficial enough to enjoy my leftovers, bitch? Y'all are so pressed. Y'all wanted her to be mad so bad that it was infuriating to y'all that Kenya did not bite the bait, and I love it. I love that she gave y'all hope. shade trees. She's like, oh, please. Courtney and Kenya, for some reason, start having this weird banter about crisis management. And it's cute because, Courtney can hold her on. And she's touching on Kenya. Oh, girl, look at it. And it's becoming facetious now. It's becoming sarcastic. So Kenya's like, okay, girl, enough. Please stop touching me. I'm not touching you, with her hands on her. Girl, you've touched me 3 times. So at the dinner, there's some little conversation. And Sheree has the audacity to be asking Drew at the dinner table, well, is this chef going to get paid? Because there was some stuff in some blogs about a woman is suing you. And Drew was like, girl, really? Drew really looked at her like, girl, we talked about this and we all agreed what things we were going to talk about and what we weren't going to talk about. You really going to do this right now? She's like, this is a lawsuit. It is what it is. Well, what is she suing for? For $1,000. Oh, $1,000. All that. Now, Sheree, first of all, girl, your bill was less with Drew for their birthday party, so don't even try it. So they're like, well, girl, just give it to her. She's like, no. We found out in the after show, Drew won the actual lawsuit. At this point, the food comes out. Everyone's excited that, the guys have played like they have cooked while the chef and the sous chef are back there fixing the food. Candy hurriedly eats her food and is ready to go. Candy goes up onto the balcony while the fellas are downstairs by the pool. They're having conversations amongst each other, talking to Scotty. Scotty, who's, the name is Jamaican. Scotty's a Jamaican name. And they're conversing about how he's dating Marlo, not what they would have assumed. Marlo can be a lot. They agree. They converse. Candy's like, wind it up, Todd. Let's go. It was really interesting because, like she said on her speak on it, she was surprised they showed that. I'm not. I am surprised they showed so much of it because Candy was really like, and come on, let's go. Like, wrap it up. We got something to do. According on her speak on it, they had something to do. So that's why they were in such a hurry. The ladies are now headed to Portugal. It's interesting because the ladies are showing up and Sanya makes it everyone's business. Did y'all hear the drama? Candy's sick. I think Candy could have made that known herself. Candy spends a lot of time in the restroom, according to Sanya yet again. I thought we left her because she didn't spend a lot of time in her seat. Candy has spent a lot of time in the restroom, according to Sanya, who loves to now... She's been friends with Sheree so much. She is now a junior bone collector and deliverer, dropping these little nuggets and bones everywhere. Her pygmy ass. Saying it is such a waste of a great, athletic, beautiful talent with a gorgeous husband. Oh, she's such a waste. Again, Candy thinks that she's gotten food poisoning, so she is regurgitating and releasing feces. So she's getting it from the top and the bottom. Oh, that's a bad way to travel. Shy, when I'm already a big man, so I try to make sure I urinate prior to. Thank God, knock on wood, I have never had to do anything more than that. God is so good. Baby, look, I have to go in sideways. I'm already 6'3" and I'm a big guy. I'm 3+, so it is what it is. So I can just imagine how uncomfortable that would be to, yeah, and that's enough. The ladies have arrived. They are now on the Sprinter. It's really, really nice. Of course, they've gotten a pretty good budget from production in order to do the cast trip, which is being hosted by Sheree, because as she begins to discuss, yeah, guys, this is going to be a trip about healing. And because Kenya is calling Bush, she turns her head like, what'd you turn your head for again, y'all? Oh, no, nothing. I wish Kenya would be like, girl, because I know this is a complete bush, but I'm here because I have to get paid because I need to record and film these scenes. I mean, y'all made me leave my daughter Brooklyn at home. I can't travel because y'all kick us on doors. And when you kick on doors, Mark wants to go to litigation and say I'm a bad parent and hold me in contempt. I'm already mad because I can't be with my baby. She didn't say that, but I'm sure that was probably running through her mind, according to what I feel. They all get there. They get champagne. They toast. They are now starting to call their better halves, their husbands, boyfriends, lovers, friends, whomever. Was it on pair? What Kenya was calling for Brooklyn, and it was such a time difference that Brooklyn must have been asleep. For some odd reason, while they're doing that, Monyetta's on the phone with her husband, and Drew is like, yeah, you're in Vegas, you could check on Ralph. And everybody's like, what do you mean? Oh, and then she feels compelled to tell them that Ralph is in Las Vegas preparing for a tryout for Chocolate City Mike or Chocolate dicks or something. I don't know. But Ralph is fine. I can say what y'all want to say. Ralph is fine. As a matter of fact, let's just see how fine he is. Y'all be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that like button. Let Facebook know we are really enjoying this. This road to 1,000, I am so grateful. Thank y'all. Back to the show. So everybody's like, wait, he's what? Of course, Drew does not have the best way of explaining things, so everyone's pretty much confused. We find out after a lengthy explanation, he's there to try out, and one of the producers from the video shoot from With Rage told him to come to Vegas and try out for this show. They start talking about the show, Candy and Manetta, because Manetta had her bridal shower there, which was hosted by Candy, and they start talking about how big the meats are. Boom. And we're like, oh, well, will Ralph compare? Is what my question was, because I want to know. Well, they all go to their rooms, as I stated, and we start seeing three-way splits of two ladies individually. We start with Manetta and Drew. Manetta's like, oh, this is so beautiful. You have a beautiful view. You know, Africa's directly that way. And Drew's like, oh, my God. Oh, wow. I've never been to Africa. And Manetta's like, yeah, I have an orphanage there in one of these cities. She's like, you have a whole city or whatever she said. She's like, no, girl, I have an orphanage in one of the townships. And she's like, oh, I've never been there. I've never been to Africa. I've only been to South Africa. Drew, girl, what? Oh, Drew, bless your little heart, honey. Then Drew tells Manetta, okay, look, Manetta, I do not like what Sheree did when we were all having brunch, and she chose to bring up that personal matter in a way that she was trying to shade me. Girl, I don't either, Drew. Sheree has the complete audacity to call someone out about paying somebody, which is why I have named Sheree Whitfield the Busted Can Peach of the Week yet again, because she has the audacity to be questioning if someone is getting paid, has been paid, will be paid, when she has a record of not paying anyone since season 1 and her off seasons and back and her off seasons again. Sheree, girl, the nerve. How dare you? Sheree, but you're healing, right? Bullshit. We now move over to Sanya and Marlo. Sanya is over there being the pick-me that she is, and she's all up in Marlo's ass. Sanya's like, I don't understand the difference between what she did with Martell and the fact that Roy was in your DMs. Let's rewind it again. The difference, Sanya, super pick-me, your pick-me ass, is she brought it to Sheree because she's Sheree's friend. So she thinks, although we know Sheree is no one's friend, it says, girl, look, hey, if you're really seriously dating him, I didn't think it was that serious. Hey, he slid into my DMs. She didn't receive it. It started off with her complimenting his fatherhood. He slipped in to say thank you. Then he came a little bit, and she was like, yo, I see how this is going. It won't be me. I've watched the show. I know how this man moves. Won't be me, bitch. So that's the difference. Also, Sheree made it a big issue. When she told Sheree, Martell, she is saying that you did so-and-so, that all the theatrics, that's what made it a big deal. Y'all are still so pressed that Kenya as a matter of fact, I'm sure Kenya was bothered. Hell, I would be like, Marlo. Although I know, according to Kenya in the after show, she knew he'd already told her that. Or maybe she's not pressed because Kenya said, no, I'd been pressed. I like this bitch. I don't like this bitch. Anyway, she didn't show it. So they're so upset that Kenya has not gotten upset. And like, oh, she's just made it such a big deal about Martell. No, she told you about Martell. You made it a big deal, which in turn made Martell react, because that's just what Martell does. Martell couldn't be a man about the situation because he lied. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. I did inbox you 2 years ago. Girl, you already said you didn't. So none of the other shit you talking matters. We think about the fact that y'all are the ones who escalated this, but y'all want Kenya to give y'all a reason to escalate. And she's like, oh, okay, girl, whatever. Again, I love the fact that Kenya paid y'all dust. And it is just bothering Sanya Marlo. Marlo has the audacity to say that Kenya just can't deal with the fact that I once dated Roy. Girl, you went on one date. I went on a date with Roy. I dated Roy, meaning that there would have been more than one encounter. Girl, Marlo, we know you're not the smartest, other than scamming and tooting and hitting the beat. But girl, let it go. We now move over to Kenya and Candy. They make mention that, hey, everyone seems to be on their best behavior. They're like, girl, for now. Kenya mentions her divorce. And Candy's like, girl, I'm sick and tired of you and this through your divorce. Kenya's been reading the blogs because she is now starting to interact on Twitter. She's like, child, I've been going through this divorce longer than I was actually married to this man. That has got to be really, really an inconveniencing hurt to have to experience someone that you thought you may have loved, whether it was rushed, it was misguided, or it was just out of the need of desire and want of having someone that loves you, or need because Kenya definitely didn't know this man. And to be having to deal with the utmost disrespect, and now he's seen Roy. So now all of a sudden he had a problem when Marlo kicked the door and quote unquote put her in harm. There is something really, really wrong with Mark. And there's a special place in hell for a person like him because of narcissism and the complete unhinged behavior that he is exhibiting. Like, dude, you have a problem with, anyway, Mark is a mess. Mark is a mess, and you're going to hell with gasoline draws on, bro. We now are at dinner with the ladies. Courtney brings up the fact that Kenya told Sheree that she felt violated and that Courtney was violating her personal space. They have some conversation, and Kenya's like, look, I understand that we were, conversing, but the touching became condescending when I asked you to stop. So she was like, well, I just feel like you have this mean girl spirit. Anyone agree? First of all, Courtney, you're not a part of the peach holders. You're not one of them. So they're not going to just jump on board. It is interesting to me enough that they have given you so much time. It's like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, you could really tell they were testing Courtney out to be a peach holder. I hope she failed because she doesn't bring anything to the show. I do like the fact that she can hold her own, but the show is so much more than banter and arguments. Like, it is just Housewives of Atlanta, despite what people think, to me is a very good show. It does not take all that fighting and all that bullshit. It don't take all that. We want to see you live your organic, authentic lives. And I don't believe that Courtney has presented that as a friend, because why are you bringing your baby father for a grown child? Like, who are you, Courtney? Crisis management in what way? Invite the ladies to something that you've done or work or an event. Well, you're a friend of, so we y'all just scratch everything I said. We don't give a damn about what Courtney does. We really want her off our screens. This is also funny because while Courtney is talking to Kenya is I'm gonna use this pen. Kenya is up in her knife like. Then she starts her explanation. When she makes the mean girl comment, she totally disregards Courtney and says, Drew, I want to thank you for understanding what I'm saying with your cousin, Courtney. She didn't say that. I'm adding that. I was just establishing a boundary. We can talk, we can converse, we can banter, but girl, don't put your hands on me. Come down. Come down. Y'all remember that when that woman was in that window? Come down. Drew says, yeah, it's just about boundaries. And also, like I mentioned with Candy's facials, it is what it is. Don't take it personal. Then they laugh about Candy having a rested bitch face. Drew calls out Sheree. You hurt my feelings, Sheree. You brought up something very, very personal in reference to a lawsuit about my family. I understand we do a little bit of tit for tat, but I don't like the fact that you didn't come to me personally. It didn't feel so good. Let me finish. Oh, keep going. Because this is good. Sheree is so fake. Sheree, you're healing, right? This is the trip about healing and all those things of why you brought those ladies here. You are such a dumbass because you will do all this stuff. You will agree with Marlo when she's dogging Candy. You would sit there and say your own personal thing. You would throw your digs and your slugs. And then when it comes to reunion, well, what did I say? I don't understand. I'm the perfect friend. I'm the perfect person. And now that Drew is calling you out on your bullshit, you're sitting there getting defensive. Like Drew couldn't even finish a sentence without you jumping in. Now, mind you, we do sometimes have discussions. And while a person is saying certain things, you want to interject to say, well, no, that's not, or you may not agree. But there's a certain way to do it. Sheree starts elevating her voice like she's checking Drew. And Drew's like, whoa, aren't we in a classy establishment? Why are you getting so hyped? Well, no, I'm just saying, like, well, you did this, and it becomes this, you did this, and you did this. And Drew is like, no, I'm talking about now. Sheree is like, well, you lied. You said the She by Sheree was all taken back at the reunion. And Drew was like, it was. Like, I didn't get anything, but like, maybe I got a hat. And then, no. And then Candace says, well, everything was taken back. Your people came. And she's like, well, no. She's like, Candy was like, so you think I'm lying to you? Sheree had the audacity with a straight face to say, well, yeah. Candy is like, girl, wait, what? Is this bitch serious? Like, you think I would lie about some cheap ass hats and some inflated ass t-shirt? Kenya's like, girl, your people did take things back, and I think all we got was a hat. Well, your girl Sanya later says in confessional, I ain't get nothing. I didn't get a hat.
I never got a hat, a bag. I ain't get nothing.
So at the dinner, there's some little conversation, and Sheree has the audacity to be asking Drew at the dinner table, well, is this chef going to get paid? Because there was some stuff in some blogs about a woman is suing you. And Drew was like, girl, really? Drew really looked at her like, girl, we talked about this, and we all agreed what things we were going to talk about and what we weren't going to talk about. You really going to do this right now? She's like, this is a lawsuit. You know, it is what it is. Well, what is she suing for? For $1,000. Oh, $1,000. All that. Now, Sheree, first of all, girl, your bill was less with Drew for their birthday party. So don't even try it. So they're like, well, girl, just give it to her. She's like, no. We find out in the after show, Drew won the actual lawsuit. I need to move that up. What I don't appreciate about Pick Me Ass Sanya was you could have been at that moment there for the collective. Now, Sheree, girl, you know I love you, girl, but I didn't get nothing either. But no, you waited until your confessional because you dare not upset your group because they're all you have. Because who you're going to film with? Because the other girls, they don't like you. So you're begging and pleading to be a part of this clique. So you're just going to keep your mouth shut instead of actually just doing what's right. It's funny because in the confessional, Marlo pops up. Marlo pops up in a hat, a t-shirt. Marlo gave me a brand new old school Delta who just went over grad chapter, who got on double, triple Perry. For those of you that don't know what Perry is, like paraphernalia, when you put on items that identify, recognize the organization, like a Delta hat, a Delta shirt, Delta earrings, a Delta necklace. She got on Delta frames. She got on, baby, a Delta gold tooth. Baby, they be double, but those AKAs, oh wait, girl, all of them. Old school SG Rose, Delta Sigma Theta, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and Zeta Phi Beta. Baby, all those ladies be so double, triple, quadruple period at the convocations and at the events, girl, at the boulets. Those things be so funny when you're looking at pictures and stuff. You look at them and like, girl, baby, she is a diehard Delta, baby. They do some more going back and forth because, of course, Sheree just can't say, oh, girl, well, my bad. Or she cannot admit, well, girl, I did it because I want you to see how I felt. It was just very tit for tat. Drew calls her out, and Drew's like, well, girl, how are you hosting a trip about healing? You can't heal your damn self. Baby, when I tell you that has shut the whole room up, because Sheree was like, yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, like Chef D on Bad Boys, Texas. Yeah. What I don't understand is while they're going back and forth, Kenya's trying to rein it back in, and she's like, well, what do you need? What do you need for you to move forward, for you to forgive her? Forgive Drew for what, Kenya? Sheree started all of this because she was trying to be cute and sarcastic about, well, is this chef going to get paid? Girl, yes, honey. After the banter and the back and forth, Drew gets up and she's crying. I think what happened was that really triggered Drew. One, she's going through a lot. Two, you brought up the situation and she really probably thought y'all were cool because, as Drew mentioned, girl, we talked about that already. Why are you bringing that back up again? And the banter was about how Sheree can't let things go. I think what really kind of set that off is, one, Drew is an easy target, and that side of the table tend to attack Drew because she's low-hanging fruit, right? They go for her because she can't give what Candy ain't gonna pay you no attention, or she gonna want to headbutt you. And then Kenya's just gonna upset you so badly you want to fight her. So they typically go for Drew. And when Sandy had the audacity, well, we're just gonna put a pin on it. So y'all just gonna negate the way I feel? That's not okay. Like y'all just gonna totally forget how I feel, and I have to just do. So I think that let's eat, let's. I think she just felt totally unheard and unsupported by that side, and like, girl, y'all just. So she got up. Kenya's like, girl, do better as a host. Marlo, interestingly enough, girl, you are the host. Go check on her. You did this. Go check on her. I was like, okay, all right, Marlo. Well, that was pretty much the end, y'all. So it'll be interesting to see how this continues next week. Again, y'all be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and show your boys some love. We're on the road to 1,000. If you made it this far, y'all check out either one of my other videos. Go to my social media, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, Heavy Hitter Media. And until the next time, y'all be easy. Peace.